All right, well, Grant, man, it's a pleasure to be on with you. I know you're down in Cabo, one of my favorite places in the world, and it's kind of weird. I just got back from Turks and Caicos to visit these places that rely so much on tourism with 75% of their economy. How's it going down there? I mean, is stuff shut down, or are people starting to go back?
Yeah, look, I just hope we got good internet here, you know. So I hope the Cabos got their internet game on, and I appreciate you having me on, Jimmy. And yeah, this COVID's just, you know, it's made everything unpredictable, from the hotel business, airlines, restaurants, bars. Small business owners in America getting pounded right now. You know, the Facebooks, the Googles, Apples, and Amazons, they're basically making the stock market do its thing. But I think the everyday small business owner that's not tracked by the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, I mean, they're just being completely overlooked.
Well, you've been saying for years, I mean, the middle class is the most dangerous place to be. Is this kind of the coronavirus just kind of expediting that?
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I talk about this in the 10X rule, like, we do not, for whatever reason, the human condition is unwilling to confront that bad things happen to good people. And for years, people have accused me of being selfish, self-centered, greedy. Like, I get all this. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. You call me whatever you want to call me, guys. I know bad stuff happens on this planet. Like, it's almost like that people disregard gravity and think everything just goes one way, and that everything's going to be good. And so, you know, whether it's 2008, 9/11, internet bust, inflation, like, nobody wants to confront the middle class. People in poverty confront it every day. They're like, shit, this is an unfair planet. I'm hungry. I can't get a break. You know, the middle class, they got 2 cars, a little fence around their house. Kids are going to school when they could go to school. They blaming me for having a nanny. You need one. Now you have to have one, or you're staying home. Like, the whole thing got turned upside down to validate that just enough never works. Having just enough, making just enough, saving just enough only works until it doesn't. And then it's too late. And unless the government comes in like they are right now, and they're just pouring in right now, but you know, there's going to be the negative impact of that is going to be inflation, you know, US dollar that's devalued, and just more problems. So this is the reason I'm always pushing people to go another level. Even when you get to where you think you're, you know, it's a good place, go again, so that you can not just help yourself and your family, but you can help other people along the way, like you're doing.
Well, and one of the things that, you know, it's funny, the first time I ever heard of you, a buddy of mine had tweeted or retweeted something about your book, If You're Not First, You're Last. And I made a joke, you know, I was like, from Ricky Bobby from Talladega, and I said, well, that's just dumb. You can be second, third, fourth. And I loved, you got all over me. You're like, no, man, that's not enough. And you like totally came back and you're like, no, this is why you need to be first. And I loved it. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, this was 10 years ago. I'm like, I need to know more about this guy. And I started reading all your books, and 10X, dude, you know, I ended up, and it's funny because I was the #1 agent in my real estate brokerage at the time. And I thought I was doing big things. And I really realized, like, man, this guy's really got me pumped up. And you became kind of my new mentor that, you know, and you've done this for so many people, which is what's cool, because you do get a lot of flack from people saying you're never satisfied, you know, be obsessed or be average, all these things you say. And to me, it resonated completely, because you've been able to impact, I mean, you've impacted my life. You never even know who I exist or not. And then how many lives I've been able to impact, and all that reverberates. And so that's why when I heard your message, and I think that's why you blew up so big, because everybody that heard that message that wanted more for themselves and for other people, that really hit a string for those people.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate you saying that. And, you know, the interesting thing is, whatever I said, what you know, if you're not first, you're last. That's very polarizing. Like, if you'll notice, most of what I do is sell or be sold, be obsessed or be average. If you're not first, you're last. You know, like, they're polarizing extremes, right? And they're designed, frankly, to grab champions. and to the attention of a champion, and to get you to question, to almost agitate you, to be like, I don't like that. That's bullshit. He copied that from Bobby. I actually didn't even know about Talladega Nights. I did not know it that they used that line there. Watched it since then
Yeah.
with my daughter. I've seen it twice now. But the other thing about is, if you're not first or last, was really not about a race. The concept was, look, if you're not everywhere, you're last. If you're not top of mind in the consumer, like if they're thinking about COVID more than they're thinking about you or Joe Biden or Trump or burning statues down or protest or indifferences or war, whatever it is, some conspiracy. If they're thinking about that, they're not thinking about you. So it was really, that book should have been called Top of Mind, because that was the concept. And the last thing is like me hitting back at you. When you posted that, me hitting back at you, it's a way people try to win people over just by, oh yeah, I understand, I'm with you. But when you challenge a champion, some of my best relationships started out with a fight.
Well, all of my best friends, the guys that, and people that are high achievers, I've been lucky enough to be around very successful people. They want to be challenged. If you back down to them, they actually don't trust you, because their number one fear is being taken advantage of. And if you're always kind of coattailing to them, they know that you're not giving them real stuff. And so for me, I love when somebody challenges me, because I know that I can trust that person. I'm like, okay, that person's, and so I do the same thing. When I meet very influential people, I actually try to challenge them a little bit, is same, because they're going to trust me more and know that I'm being authentic with them.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, so there is this huge problem right now with the quarantine and people not being able to work. And it is the middle class. It's the small businesses that all got shut down. They let the big boys stay open. So is this just expediting everything you've been talking about? And what would you do right now if you're in the middle class? If you have a struggling small business, what does that person need to do right now, Grant?
Look, if you were in trouble before this, if you were at risk before this, guess what? Everything just gets amplified. Same thing happened in 2008. Anybody that was at risk, when you have a contraction, the people that are most at risk on the edges feel all the pain. So you can blame 2008, you can blame COVID, you can blame Trump, but sooner or later you got to say, wait a minute, why? This is what happened for me in 2008.
Yeah.
Like 2008 was an awareness, like when Lehman collapsed, I'm like, oh, I am fucked. And the second thing I thought was, how did I do this to my family? Now, I had nothing to do with, I had nothing to do with the housing mortgage crisis. Zero. Even though I'm in real estate, I was buying apartments, they were cash flowing. We never over leveraged anything, but I was in the environment and I settled. Where I made a mistake was pre-2008. Between 2000 and 2008, I had done pretty well and thought I was the shit. I had some money stacked away. Again, I wasn't planning for this big event.
Sure.
I was just thinking about, I'm playing golf 3 times a week. I got a little money. I got some money saved. I got my retirement handled. I got my house. I can handle my payment. It was me, man. And then when 8 came, 2008 came, my mama used to say, when it rains, it pours. Probably wasn't her saying. She probably stole it from somebody. But 2008 came, a lawsuit came with it. All my real estate got frozen up. I owed $50 million to a bank. The bank went upside down. And what else happened? My other 2 businesses got cut in half. So it was like everywhere I turned, man, it was like there was no play for me. And I realized that day, nothing had happened to me. It had happened because of me. Because I had settled. I had stopped grinding out. I had settled for what I had. I got comfortable. I became satisfied. I started thinking I was the shit. I wasn't challenging myself anymore. I wasn't going the extra mile. And I think that's happening today. People that weren't embracing virtual, weren't embracing Facebook or whatever the case is, the YouTubes, the Twitters, the LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Webinars, the businesses that were just retail, brick and mortar, committed. I'm just going to advertise and people are going to come to me. Like, if you've been slacking, you're going to get a whacking.
When you've been talking about this forever and be obsessed or be average, when I read that, I was like, he wants me to tweet how many times a day? And I remember like thinking, man, this is so much more effort than I've been giving. And I've been watching ever since, then, of how often you are posting and tweeting, the amount of sheer content you're putting out to be at the top of mind. One thing that you just said is most people say this is happening to me or for me. You said because of me. I love that, because that's the third part, which is, and what I'm trying to figure out in life, I've been trying to figure this out for a while, is why do so many people play victim, and why do other people say, no, this is my fault? I know when I was 14 years old, I got cut from the baseball team, and all my friends got called up one at a time in the final ceremony. And I was the last one sitting there by myself, all my friends on the field getting an all-star trophy. And I had to have this realization in life that I wasn't good enough. I didn't practice hard enough. And in that moment, I hurt so bad that I said to myself, I will never feel like this again because I got outworked. And that was the moment I became an achiever. That was the moment I took responsibility for my life. And because of that, I've been able to ever since always know that I was the asset. I would either fail or succeed based on my own merits. What about for you? And then I want to follow that up with why is it so easy for most people to play victim or to try to think that this is happening because of something outside of their own control?
Yeah. So look, people, I don't think people understand what things mean, like definitions. Responsible. The word responsible means able to respond. I'm able to respond to a situation. I think people are taught that things actually happen to them. We're politicized all day long that something is being done to me. We're a nation of victims, dude. We started out as a nation of basically a bunch of criminals, came over here from the UK, and they're like, shit, I'm gonna take everything. I got my shot. And so now people are like, our grandparents knew how to grow tomatoes. We don't even know how to get to the store in a new town without a telephone telling us how to get there.
Yeah.
I can't remember anybody's phone numbers, bro. Like, I got 2 numbers I can remember. I when I was 25 years old, I could remember hundreds of phone numbers. So we're becoming, it's like the lazy syndrome, right? People are not born lazy. I got a buddy, Jordan. Okay, he appears to be one of the laziest people on the planet. He's got a T-shirt that says, "I am the moniker for lazy." But the thing is, people aren't lazy. You're not born lazy. You're not born irresponsible. You're not born a victim. Yeah. You're allowed to be those things. And we have a culture today. And this isn't an older guy telling the young people they're doing something wrong. This is for everybody. People older than me do this shit. All you people that are 60, 70 years old, if you happen to see this, you're lazy because somebody around you allowed you to be lazy. My best friend, I was watching this video my daughter did earlier today that I threw on my Instagram channel. And at the end of it, I'm talking about my mother. My mother was my best friend. And my mom used to say, she was in her 80s. I'd be like, let's go play some blackjack. We'd get on a plane, we'd fly to Vegas. I'd keep her up like 18 hours a day in her 80s. And the whole time she's kicking and screaming, and I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I wouldn't let her be tired. Lazy is not a natural state. Irresponsible is not a natural state. Not working is not a normal state. When you're a kid, you actually want to work. Mm. You can see a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old will start mimicking everything the parents are doing. They'll start playing on the computer. A cat will do it. Your dog will want to come play on the computer or work the computer or the phone. So people want to work, man. They want to grind, but we live in a society now where everybody's like, dude, Saturday and Sunday, you're entitled to take off. The old saying about God, what did he do? He created for 6 days and took the 7th day off. People hear that and they're like, shit, I deserve Sunday off. Yeah, but you ain't done nothing. Shit. You missed the first part of the story. Fucking God busted his ass. Butterflies, bumblebees, mountaintops, valleys, skies, oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, ponds. I mean, other systems, right? The guy went tripping off for 6 days and then he's like, you know what? I'm going to take a little break here.
Yeah, I think most people don't even know what it looks like to actually put in a really hard, tough week of work where you're truly grinding and putting in that full effort.
People think 40 hours is a big deal, man. You know,
Yeah.
Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. Dolly Parton never worked 9 to 5. Dolly Parton made a bunch of damn money off 9 to 5. She did 5 to 9.
Yeah, she did. She did.
And saying to people what they wanted to hear. I think she wrote that song and made it famous. That's not what she did. That's what she said. So people could buy into it. What she did, that chick, she's worth, I think Dolly's worth $800 million bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Pounding out, still working today. That's a good example of our normal natural state.
Well, I think one of the reasons why you're more respected than most influencers is people can tell, like, say what you want about Grant, that dude knows how to work. And you can see that you're always putting in the work every single day. I mean, you're on vacation in Cabo, you're working right now, you know? And
yeah. So like, you know, people do, I get a lot of bullshit, but exactly what you just said, but people will be like, but dude, look, the guy does what he says.
Yep.
Like, and you don't have to like my personality, but nobody's ever going to bust me for saying one thing and doing another thing.
Well, and again, you said earlier in the podcast, you said that you've purposely tried to challenge people to find out who the champions are. And one of the things that I've noticed is there's a lot of people are trying to make their name on trying to tear down people like yourself. And I hate it. You see these YouTube videos, one after another, these people that they're just trying to build themselves off of your name. They're basically trying to take what you've done, tear it down in the name of them trying to build up. And it's kind of fun because every now and then you'll click back at one of them. It always makes me laugh. But you get a lot of that, you know, going. And I think it's, people either have to change themselves or they have to make the other person wrong. And so I think a lot of people try to make your way of being wrong. Do you sense that when you're, as you get these people coming after you all the time?
Like, you know, it never works. The clickbaiting thing never works. I mean, it'll get you likes and comments and it attracts victims.
Yeah, it does.
But that's the problem with the clickbait thing. You know, let's go hate on Grant Cardone today. Okay, shit, that's easy. I can do that. But those guys never fucking buy anything. They don't have any money. They're a bunch of broke people. They use time incorrectly. So they're being used, they're being victimized. They're being made to become victims and play the hate game. And so, dude, all those guys, by the way, all you guys that are clickbaiting me right now, because you're going to have people watch this.
Sure.
I love you guys. Nobody promotes me better than the little bitches that use my name. So keep doing it. Keep clickbaiting me because, you know,
they're just confused fans, I guess, right?
100%. They can flip, but they're probably never gonna. The people that watch those are probably never gonna make it to my customer lineup because they're just not gonna improve the quality of their life enough to ever. To you know, they're just spectators.
Yeah. No.
And look, spectators don't get paid; they pay. If you're in a spectator mode, I was at a Super Bowl once, and I was like, dude, I got to get in the ring. I got to get on the field.
Yeah.
There ain't no money over here.
It's funny. We think the exact same way. Every time I'm at a major sport, I remember when I was a kid, I went to a Jazz game here in Utah, and I wanted to be down in the front in the stand. So I snuck down there, and I got kicked out. And I remember thinking to myself, all right, one day though, I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to be back here. And then I ended up buying, you know, I ended up getting season tickets front row for 5 years in a row. Because as a kid, that like innate just want to be in the show or to be part of it, be part of the game where you're actually in the action.
Yeah.
Well, so you've got a lot of businesses. You have a lot of things going on that are going to be affected by the coronavirus. I mean, your 10X conference, you had 13,000 people there in February. What do you see, like, where do you see this going, both, I guess, for that kind of stuff and real estate? Does everybody just need to change and adapt, or how did you prepare yourself for this versus 2008 when kind of it caught us all off guard, including myself?
Yeah. So good question. Yeah, those 13,000 people, by the way, they were in Vegas. The difference between that and other events, every person in the room paid. Because a lot of those events are free events. They're come-on events. So when we open our doors, I'm really proud to say we're not only we're the biggest events in the world, we are the most profitable event in the world, because most of those events lose money to get you to a room to grind you out, and which is fine. That is a way to do the business. But we do a really, really high quality event. And for me, everything should monetize. You know, everything should convert to $1 somewhere along the line. I think we're going to be back February. I think November 3rd, COVID's over.
Yeah, I think so.
One way or the other, whether it's a Biden win or a Trump win, it'll be over. We had already been very, very much a virtual business, probably 50% virtual, a lot of webinars. I think we did 6 or 8 webinars last year. That was probably 30 or 40% of my income. We raised last week. I've raised $400 million. I think 200 million of it was during COVID for real estate ventures.
What are you investing in right now? How are you vetting deals now versus, maybe before COVID?
Well, I buy apartments only. So I buy multifamily, large 300 unit apartment complexes, cash flow from day one. We don't build anything. We buy in good job markets. There's some things about COVID that people aren't talking about that really helped apartments.
Get into those a little bit. I'm curious myself.
Yeah. So one thing was in March and April, we had the highest renewals I have ever had in 35 years. Renewal means I was about to leave, my lease was up, and I decided to stay. It was like in the 90s. It's normally 45%, 46% renewals. It doubled. Wow. People didn't want to go shop for another apartment. We did some really, really interesting things that I've learned as a salesperson in other businesses to reach forward into people's money and bring them security at a time where people were very insecure about so many things. I learned this out of 2008, like expand in contractions, don't waste a crisis. Expand in the contraction, do not waste the crisis. So we got extremely creative. We have almost 8,000 families that depend on us for housing. And we reached 8,000 people in 21 days.
Wow.
Hey, how can we help you? What can we do for you? This is way before anything about no evictions, no rent increases. We were on the phone, dude. We were like talking to people, pounding on their doors, doing whatever. And so we were very proactive. The way we underwrite the deals differently today, or vet the deals, as you say, is we just have less competition in a deal now. So it's not that I'm paying less, it's that I actually get to look at deals that I would not have gotten pre-COVID, because now Blackstone, my competitors are big $1 trillion companies. So I'm a punk with $2 billion worth of real estate. And these guys are sitting with $150 billion worth of real estate and $150 billion in cash.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to grab them. I'm trying to become either an agitation, a nuisance, or a partner with those guys in the future. So they can't come to the table right now because they're big. They're institutional. They can't come. They can't shop. They can't walk properties. They can't leave their offices because they're big companies and they're worried about litigation.
And so that gives you the advantage. You get to actually go and get your boots on the ground and go check those places.
I get to do deals. Like we're buying a $122 million deal right now that was under contract for $130. The guy dropped it because of COVID. We grabbed it for $10 million savings. We're just much more nimble.
Yeah.
Look, being big is great. It's an asset until it becomes a liability.
Yeah, you can't move.
Being small,
warship very quick, right?
Yeah. Being small is a liability, but it allows you to move faster, which is an asset. So I got to know what my liabilities are, what my assets are. How can I convert them? How can I play with them? And I need to know the other person I'm dealing with or my competition. What's their liabilities? What's their assets?
Yeah. So I think the number one question I'm getting right now, and I know the answer based on what's going on with where the market was last time, but a lot of people think there's this impending real estate down market that's coming, or crash, they say. What do you tell people that are afraid to invest with you or invest with me or whatever it might be right now because they think there's a real estate crash coming?
Well, I think there's always going to be something's going to crash. You got to find out. I mean, rich people are going to buy big homes.
Mm.
Okay. Now I don't know. Now the definition is, what is rich? I think the $1 million homes get just hammered. Frankly, I think inner city stuff's going to get hammered. As much as they're going to try to keep urban, suburban's going to win. People want space. Like, we buy garden style apartments. We don't buy verticals. So okay. I'm going to win there. I'm going to beat the vertical. People aren't going to forget this quickly, even though it'll be over in November. So, who knows, maybe it wasn't even anything. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people have been greatly, greatly affected. People have died. It's terrible. But economically, man, this is the biggest redistribution of wealth I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Exactly right.
So I think, like, I know guys in LA right now, man, the big homes are just like rolling right in the right locations. Now, if it's not a good location, if it's under $1 million, if the guy's worried about his payments, that's going to be trouble. That's going to be a problem. Mm. If you're out of work, see, the other shoe hadn't fallen yet. But if you're out of work, and when that money stops from the government, dude, you're not going to be able to make your mortgage.
Right.
So we haven't had any of that yet. We haven't had the evictions yet. Like, you got forbearances going on.
Everything down the field at this point, right?
Yeah. So to me, I mean, the way to play this game is to become an investor and wait. Look at October, November, December, January, March of next year. I think there's going to be unbelievable opportunities. I think at the end of the day, this creates more of a renter nation. America becomes more of a renter. And rich people will keep doing whatever they do. Like ranch and farmland's probably going to win.
Yeah. I've had several people reach out to me in the last couple months asking about ranch and farmland specifically, 150 acres, 25 acres, stuff like that. They want to get away from. And we live in a world now where you don't need to be close to the city to actually do everything that you need to do.
Yeah.
So for the kid, I mean, because you attract, like you said, champions, people that are willing to take a message and go, yeah, I do need to 10X my effort. I need to step up. I need to do more with myself. How do you reach those people that you're not reaching? I guess, have you ever even tried to reach that audience? Is there a way, is your message resonate with those people that maybe just, they have never had anything go their way, or they just don't have that ambition to get more for themselves? Like, how do you reach that audience? Because, you know, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he said, the way you make the nation a better place is you get less losers in the nation. And ultimately, I think the people that are attracted to your message are mostly already doing something great with their life, or they're about to. But how do you help those that are just playing victim or playing down or just not doing anything with their lives? How do you help pull them up to help everybody?
I mean, I think you just set a good example and keep winning. And you know, my goal is not to help everyone. Mm-hmm. My goal is to have everyone know me, have half of them hate my guts, half of them like me, and out of the half that like me or want to follow my message, I mean, 50% of those are going to follow everybody. They're going to be like, I'm following Tony and Bobby and Johnny, but like, they're never going to do anything either.
Yeah,
they're not going to do anything because they're going to be confused. They're listening to they got 17 coaches, 54 mentors. They listen to anything and anybody about anything because they're open-minded, and they think open-minded is good. But if you ever parachute, that chute opens if that chute opens up too wide, it don't break a fall. Mm. It's worthless. It can only be open so much. Like, people need to the people that win with me have blinders. They don't listen to me and Gary. They pick. Mm. Because Gary, and I love Vaynerchuk, right? But we just have a little different message. We're both very heavy on work ethic. He doesn't want to monetize. I want to get super rich. So if you listen to both of us, it's going to be confusing. Pick one of us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're both sharp.
We live in a world that's got so much noise these days. You do have to kind of, focus has never been more important, because there's like when I was 20 years ago, there wasn't enough information. I had to really search to find somebody to give me some good advice. Nowadays, everyone wants to give, there's like these young hustlers that are giving real estate advice. I look them up. They've sold like less than 100 houses in their career. I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing until I'd sold 300 or 400 houses. You know, I've sold over 2,500 homes now. And it's like, you look at all these people that want to teach you what to do, and it's like, man, this is noise. It's actually negative. It's hard because the younger crowd, or the people that are trying to search for it, they don't know where to find the people that have actually failed and succeeded and gotten through it all and built these things the right way.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I would definitely my advice to people would be, get a filter, pick 2 or 3 people, make sure there's something similar, like not contradictions. So.
Yeah, no, I like that.
I can't, even if it's like whatever it is, this is real estate investing, real estate sales, if it's investing in the stock market, pick somebody to follow. Pick somebody that's done extremely well. And reach above you, not sideways or down. Like that's one of my criteria. I get advice from people that are way ahead of me, not alongside me.
Yeah. If anybody ever calls me to want to manage my money, I want to see how much money they're managing first. I want to make sure that they know how to manage a lot more than what I currently have. But so for people that aren't as familiar with your whole story, Grant, back us up to when you were a kid, because you had a lot of things. And I think there's just a lot of people in the high school and college listen to my podcast, and they're kind of looking like, and I think a lot of people hear where you're at, they see where I'm at, and they're like, okay, those guys, great, they've made it. But I'm over here struggling. I'm selling cars, or I'm selling, I sold meat door to door and things like that. Talk to us a little bit about your story and kind of how you were able to become Grant Cardone, because I think it's a lot of people just going to see this and say, okay, Grant's, but he's where he's at now. He manages $2 billion worth of assets. But walk us through a little bit of kind of your story and let people know where you came from and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, so I grew up in a middle-class family in Lake Charles, Louisiana, single mother. My dad died when I was 10. It was 5 of us. Very 1,400 square foot house with 6 people in it. And a lot of scarcity, a lot of, we weren't into poverty. We weren't like, we had 3 meals a day and clothes and, transportation, but we were scared. It was everybody. My mom was scared. She didn't know how to get money in. And so she was saving. We were very much a saving mentality household. Save for a rainy day. Penny saved is a penny earned. Money doesn't grow on trees. That whole genre of, scarcity.
Yeah.
So, man, I grew up. I was 16 years old. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to live like this. I cannot live like this the rest of my life. And I'm gonna get rich. Like I remember the first time I said, I'm gonna get rich as shit. How old were you with that mindset?
Because most people that grow up with that other money mindset, they stay there forever. So how old were you when you broke out of that?
Well, the first time I saw anything about money, I was like maybe 7 years old. And I was at a James Bond movie, Goldfinger, with my grandfather and my dad and my older brother and my twin brother. And my grandpa, he was a gambler. He either had a roll or he was busted. In the middle of the movie, he's freaking counting honeys. And I was like, dang, man, I'm 7 years old. I'm like, shit, I want to roll, right? And I'm watching James Bond walk in a casino. Like I'm collecting data. I don't know. I'm collecting information. You're collecting it all the time, like every second of every day, right? And Bond is walking in. Remember, I live in a family where like you got to watch everything. And my dad's like, don't play with money. And my grandpa's playing with it, counting it in a black theater. You can't dark theater. You can't even see anything. So James Bond goes to the casino, loses all his money, and it's nothing. So I have these 3 stories going on around me. My dad said, don't play with money. My grandpa's counting it because it's important. And James Bond's walking in a place in a tuxedo, getting a shaken martini, losing all his chips, and it don't even mean anything. And he still gets the girl, still leaves in a hot car. I'm like, that's the guy I want to be. But dude, I didn't have, 25 years old, I was broke. 18 years old, I was a drug addict. 21 years old, I wasn't a functional drug addict. I was a 8 and 10 time a day use any drug addict. It was terrible. Had a terrible drug addiction. Overdosed 3 times. Probably moments from being called dead, and people woke me up. Brought me back. I've been rebuilding since I was 25, and still rebuilding, and it's still a struggle.
What was the moment for you when you went from drug addict to, all right, now I'm going to, build the life that you have today?
Well, I wasn't thinking about building this life. I was thinking about shit. I just want to go 24 hours without using drugs again. And I had a job. There was a car dealer that gave me a job. I went to a treatment center, came back. He gave me nice enough to give me a job. And I put my head down, bro. Like, I took all the time that I was using drugs, all the time I was trying to find drugs, and I put all my energy into a job I hated. Hated. I hated selling cars. And I just focused on it until I didn't hate it anymore, because I got good at it. It's interesting when you get good at something, you don't hate it as much.
True. No matter what it is. I built my whole real estate business calling for sale by owners, and everyone in this business, it's their least favorite thing to do. And I kind of, call me sick, but I kind of loved it because I got so damn good at it. It became a game to me. I could get on it. I could turn people from wanting nothing to do with me to inviting me over and having dinner as I closed them on their house, and it was just, that to me was such a fun thing. And I think that's why, to me, it never felt like I was working calling those every single day.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't like mechanics. I'm not good at it.
Right.
Things, I get frustrated. I get angry. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this computer, whatever it is. Right. If I'm no good at it, if you're not good at something, and that is one thing I would tell people, man, like, get great at something you hate before you throw it away. Cause it might be the door. It might be the doorway. It might actually be the first part of your journey. And I lost 6 or 7 jobs from 15 years old till 23. I lost every job I had. McDonald's, selling shoes, selling insurance, being an insurance assistant, doing accounting for a pool guy. Let's see, what else did I have? Clothing, a restaurant, lost a furniture store, maybe 8 jobs, lost them all. And I just couldn't quit another job, dude. I couldn't get fired from another job.
Yeah.
And that was really the turning point. I'm like, I got to get good at something. And I started listening I started going, rather than trying to find out where the drugs were, I started trying to find out where success was.
Mm-hmm. So if you're 25 years old today, listening to this, and you kind of have no idea where your life's going, if you were starting over at 25 or 20 years old, what would you do right now? What would be the next few steps in this 2020 environment that you would take, Grant?
Yeah, well, stay out of the clubs. Stay away from the drugs, stay away from alcohol. Neither one of them are going to help you. They're not going to make you better. If you're a woman, leave the guys alone. If you're a guy, don't hunt the women. Like, leave it alone. You're not ready anyway. Put your head down and go kill some fucking Benjamins. I've never met a Benjamin I didn't like. I like them all, man. I'm like, dang, I like those dudes, man. They support me. They help me. They fund my causes. Like, I like them, dude. Like they, it don't make me happy, by the way. Money doesn't make you happy, but it'll buy some advertising. All right. It'll get you date night. When you're ready, it'll get you a watch. Like I can give money to charity. I can go on vacation. I can go to Cabo. Like, it won't make me happy. I've never tried to make money to make me happy. It'll give me a good place to live. I could give the money to my church. I want to stack some paper. And then once I stack the paper, then I can decide what I want to do with it to help other people, because I can't help anybody if I'm struggling with paper every day. We live on an economic planet. People can argue with me on this all day, as much as they want. I have this argument with people all the time. Money's not that important. I'm like, because you ain't got any. And because you don't give any money away. I've given $20 million to charity. You can't give it if you ain't got it.
Yeah.
And most people are not charitable enough. They have a big charitable heart and no money. Oh shit, I'd help a lot of people. If I was you, I'd help a lot of people. Yeah, but you ain't done what I've done to help a lot of people. So, I bought a jet 2 years ago, and people are like, I can't believe you bought that jet. You could have given that money to charity. You don't even know. They don't even know what I've given to charity.
Yeah.
And that jet, by the way, helped me raise $100 million for charities.
Well, at the end of the day, I've always said, if you spend your whole 20s grinding, then you kind of get to be ahead the rest of your life. But if you party in your 20s, you spend the rest of your life playing catch up to those that hustled in their 20s. So the 20s is that decade that's so important, because most people think it's a decade to just party like everyone else is. But if you can focus in and dedicate yourself in that 10-year span, you're ahead forever from there on forward.
Agree. Totally agree.
Well, Grant, I appreciate this, man. It's so fun for me it's funny.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, bro. I want to hook up with you, and I hope you come to our Vegas event. Bring a bunch of people with you.
I will. Well, for those that want to come to that, go ahead and give a shout out to whatever you got coming up, Grant.
Yeah, 10xgrowthcon.com. I guarantee you it will be the best 3-day experience of your lifetime. Last year we had Kevin Hart, Dana White, John Travolta. All these guys are talking about business, by the way. They're not talking about their arts. Usher was there, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, this is an epic event. You've never ever, if you've take the best thing you've ever been to in your life and put that thing on steroids at 10x levels, and you'll be like, dude, you can't go there and not change your life.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, of all the conferences that all came out over the last 5 or 6 years, yours is the only one, because I missed it one year in live. It's the only one I watched online was the 10X conference. It's that important to me, and it really is that good. So I'll for sure be putting this out to everybody, Grant, and look forward to hooking up with you there. And
get this right. Get this right, Jimmy. Tell you people to get this right.
Cash flow.
Okay. Appreciate you, man.
All right, Grant. Thank you so much, man.
Be great.
Have a good day. Take care.